menstruation is a cyclic process that begins at the onset of puberty. Generally, this cycle varies from 21 to 45 days, but it can be shorter or longer in different situations. This cycle is more likely to be irregular in the initial 1 to 2 years after the onset of menstruation. During this process, the thick layer of blood and tissues formed inside the uterus breaks down and comes out of the vagina. Menstrual blood may come out of the vagina for 3 to 7 days. However, this can be shorter or longer for different people. There are several products used to absorb this blood, such as cloth, sanitary napkins, tampons, and menstrual cups. When can menstruation occur? Menstruation can occur in 3 situations. The first situation occurs when the sperms cannot reach the fallopian tubes. This happens when no sexual intercourse has taken place. When this happens, the unfertilized egg stays in the fallopian tube for 24 hours, after which it breaks down and is absorbed by the body. 2 weeks after this, the thick layer of blood and tissue which is being deposited in the uterus breaks down and comes out of the vagina in the form of menstruation. The second situation is when sexual intercourse takes place, but fertilization does not occur. There can be many reasons for fertilization to not take place, such as the lack of a mature egg in the fallopian tube, inability of the sperms to reach the fallopian tubes, or the inability of the sperm to fertilize the egg. This can also happen if condoms or any other contraceptive has been used while having sexual intercourse. Even in this situation, the egg stays in the fallopian tube for 24 hours after the process of ovulation, after which it breaks down and is absorbed by the body. About 2 weeks after the egg breaks, the thick layer of blood and tissues in the uterus breaks down and comes out of the vagina in the form of menstruation. The third situation occurs when unprotected sexual intercourse has taken place and fertilization occurs, but the fertilized egg is not able to get embedded in the uterine wall, or in other words, the person does not get pregnant. In this situation too, the thick layer of blood and tissue in the uterus breaks down and comes out of the vagina in the form of menstruation. Can you now tell the different situations in which menstruation can occur? Myths related to menstruation. It is difficult to get accurate and complete information about the process of menstruation due to the shame and the stigma attached to it. Therefore, it becomes even harder to challenge these myths, stereotypes, and orthodox beliefs that have been prevalent in society for many decades. Let's break these myths today. Myth number 1. Only women can menstruate. The occurrence of menstruation depends on the composition of your body. It has nothing to do with your gender. Any person with ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, and vagina can menstruate. Female or intersex persons whose gender is of a man can also get their periods. Myth number 2. Menstrual blood is dirty and impure. There are many myths prevalent in our society regarding the purity of menstrual blood. Many times, we are told that menstrual blood is dirty and impure and that we should not enter the kitchen or religious places during menstruation. Often, it is believed that touching pickles during menstruation causes them to spoil quickly. However, these beliefs are not based on facts. The discharge during menstruation is completely clean. In fact, it is the same layer of blood and tissues in the uterus that nourishes and aids in the development of the fetus during pregnancy. Myth number 3. Excessive bleeding and early onset of menstruation is the result of having sex or desire to have sex. Early onset of menstruation only reflects the bodily differences between different individuals and nothing else. Similarly, the amount of menstrual discharge can vary from person to person. It also depends on variations in our physical bodies. However, an excessive amount of discharge during menstruation can be an indicator of some health issue. In such a situation, it is important to consult a doctor. Myth number 4. Individuals use menstrual pain as an excuse to avoid working. The experience of menstruation varies from person to person. Many individuals may feel pain in different parts of the body. They can suffer from an upset stomach or even experience mood shifts during this time. Due to this, they may not feel comfortable in taking up physical activities. At the same time, there may be individuals who feel less pain and discomfort during menstruation and are able to engage in daily work, even sports, without any trouble. The decision, therefore, whether to engage in physical exercise or intense physical activities during menstruation should rest upon the menstruating individual, and their preferences should be respected. Myth number 5. Absence of menstruation is one of the early symptoms of pregnancy. If a person has had sexual intercourse and missed a period, it could be a sign of pregnancy. Since the layer of blood and tissue formed in the uterus serves to nourish the fetus during pregnancy, this layer will remain in the uterus in case the person becomes pregnant. That is, it will not come out of the body through the vagina in the form of menstruation. However, in order to ascertain a pregnancy test kit can be used. Sometimes there are other reasons for a late or missed period. It is possible that a person has had a regular menstrual cycle and may not have had sex but still misses their period. This could be due to some other health issue and need to be examined by a doctor. It is important to have complete and accurate knowledge about our own bodies, and it becomes all the more essential to spread this knowledge and awareness in order to challenge the myths, the stereotypes, and taboos associated with menstruation in our society.